Mega is an improvised satire from the staff of a fictional megachurch.
Perfect.
Beautiful. All right. Hiya, I'm Hallie Labont, and this is Mega, coming to you from Twin Hills Community Church, where every single week we're giving our mega church a tiny family feel. We love to introduce you to members of our church staff and people from our community, and I always find it to be a treat and a treasure. And per usual,
I'm going to scoot you over just a little bit. Can you into the middle?
Way?
Yeah, there you go.
And per usual, I'm joined by my co-host. He's the youth pastor for our high school ministry called Climax. Please welcome Gray Haas.
I'm down with G-O-D. Yeah, Hallie, you know me. How are you?
Too blessed to be stressed, too anointed to be disappointed, and way too grateful to be hateful. Well, hold on. Let me think about it. What did I say? Jesus?
The run, just this.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, just like Corinthians tells us to run the race and the prize is in heaven, our guest today has prizes for young athletes everywhere in the Skies Prize Sports Camp. It's your friend and mine, Dien Dran. Welcome to the program, Deann, or should I call you Bean?
You can call me Bean. Bean's my nickname. Oh my God, I'm just like so excited to be here.
You are a ball of energy. And I mean, where does that come from? Like, how did you get it? I mean, sports ministry incorporates so many different kinds of sports, and you've got to have so much energy to play sports. Where does it come from?
Honestly, it comes from my family background.
Oh, really?
My dad was an athlete. My mom was an athlete. They both played basketball.
Really?
And my sisters were also athletes. They played basketball as well. We're kind of a family of basketball players.
Yes.
And I was a gymnast, which was kind of a little bit of a riff in the family, but no big deal.
Okay.
And I think I've just been kind of flipping off the walls since birth, really. I think I flipped out of the womb.
That's awesome. You did a back handspring right into the doctor's nose.
Yeah, that would hurt, wouldn't it, Hallie?
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Well, I did want to ask about that because in your testimony, and I just thought this was awesome, you got up in front of Twin Hills the other day and you just said, we're starting our sports camps, send your young people to us. And, I really liked what you said, which is after the age of, what did you say, 13 or 14, you pretty much were on your own because your family was doing basketball and you were doing gymnastics. And you said, you're trying to create a place where everybody is welcome, where there's no division between the sports. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I find that in my experience when I came out as a gymnast, my family, it was hard. They kicked me out. And
oh, really? Oh, no.
Yeah. They kicked me out of the house. And thankfully, Twin Hills.
Yeah.
That's the name of the ministry, right?
Yeah. It's the name that's the name of the church. Yeah.
Okay. And thankfully, Twin Hills was there to pick me back up. Awesome. And it has been honestly a dream, and I want to return that to the community. So anyone who's 13 or 14 who's trying to, do a sport that maybe their parents didn't do or their siblings didn't do, that's what Sky's Prize is here for. We are a home for kids who are coming out as a different sport.
Awesome. Wow, that is so cool. Now, is there, when a kid and they come out as saying, I'm really into pickleball or I'm really into the 400-yard dash, do you automatically know something about them just based on what their sport is? And is it a choice of do they choose that sport or are they born that way?
Let me just say this. Everyone is born with the sport. I'm actually kind of sick of hearing people say that you can choose what sport you play.
Oh, really?
Awesome.
Because I find that God has given you a gift, and that gift could be pickleball, and you are born with that ability to play on a smaller court, and I want people to be able to be themselves as they were born, reaching their full potential in their God-given sport.
Yeah. I want to get into that a little bit because What I don't tend to agree with, and I know that this is kind of how it's going now with sports, which is just like, yes, you could be born a pickleball player. Sometimes I kind of doubt that because, it's just the sport in general is a bit weird. But I just am always like, what's with, now it seems like with a lot of these sports ministries, it's like, yes, you can play pickleball, but if you're going to be playing pickleball on the soccer field, it's just like now it seems like anything goes. There's no rules. And sometimes that's, I'm getting a bit like, well, if you're going to play pickleball, you got to play over there. But, kids want to be a gymnast, but then they want to get on the basketball court. What do you say about that?
What I say about that is I really like to keep it separate. So when I see a child trying to, let me say, like freestyle on the form, play pickleball on the soccer field, we have a very strict, so we pull them aside. I don't want to, we don't use strong language per se, but we're kind of like, hey, listen, this is not right.
Yep.
This is not the natural way this game is played.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And we will not tolerate any sort of freak, nasty playing on a different field. Okay. We just absolutely will not tolerate that.
And for the listeners, she's kind of grabbing my arm very hard right now and leaning in and just showing me how you talk to the athletes, which I think is good. You're not yelling at them. You're grabbing their arm and you're kind of grabbing their jersey and you're pulling them close and you're saying, we don't do this here.
Exactly. Something that we really also, as some of the counselors, is that we want to kind of have a physical dominance over the kids, just so they know their place. Now, listen, I want them to be free in the sport that they want, but I also want them to know that, guess what? We're in charge and we're listening to God and we're just following the chain of command.
Yep. I think it makes kids feel safe when they have very clear parameters. Get that pickleball over onto the pickleball court. Get that soccer ball into the field. Never the twain shall meet. And if I might offer you a word basket of encouragement, Bean, I'm really so sorry that your parents couldn't see that you were born authentically as a gymnast and that, you lost. I always hear this about like attachment and authenticity, and you just wanted to be authentically the gymnast you were born to be, and the fact that they rejected you and you lost that attachment, that must have been so hard, because honestly, your parents should have looked at you and said, well, my land, she's got the legs of Simone Biles, she's got her hair all pinned back in a million little clips and barrettes. You're not going to go into basketball with that. For basketball, you need a long ponytail. And you've got gymnast hair, legs. You got a gymnast spine. I can tell it's very bendy and you're very flexible.
Thank you for saying that. It's honestly, it was really hard for the first couple of years because I did try to be a basketball player. I tried to bounce the ball with my hands up and down, up and down, up and down, dribble.
That's hard.
And I tried to shoot. And I felt like I was really forcing it. And to live, no one should live like that.
Yeah. And if you don't desire to dribble and to shoot and to box out, you shouldn't have to. And I just wanted to ask a quick word, because we know that modest is hottest. And I will say that as far as girls sports go, the basketball players have a little bit more coverage. And I just was wondering if you could speak into, these gals in gymnastics, they're wearing the leotards, they're form-fitting, and their legs and behinds are real obviously out there. What are we supposed to look at when we watch you out there? Because you're almost all body, and I know I shouldn't be looking.
Can I just say it's okay to be looking, okay?
Oh, is it okay?
It is, okay? Don't shy away. The Lord gave us these thick thighs and these strong calves and these little flippin' bodies. I mean, I know we're showing a lot, but we're showing the pure power and the purpose.
Okay.
Oh, pure power and the purpose. Say that 3 times.
Power and the purpose.
Power and the
Power and the
purpose.
purpose.
I love
Power and the
that.
purpose.
Wow.
Power and the purpose.
Pure is power and it's purpose.
And I keep hearing porpoise, but it's purpose.
That's a different sport.
That's a different sport.
Oh, do you have
Power
that as
and the
well?
Porpoise. Yeah, we also do Power and the Porpoise as well.
Oh, is that? I thought I saw some people training in the pool.
Yes, we love Power and the Porpoise.
Awesome.
Well,
They actually, the swimmers swim in full tunics, so I think that's why it's
Yes.
getting a little confusing. That like the
Yeah.
gymnasts show the bodies, the swimmers
Yeah.
swim in floor length tunics.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
That's because they get wet and you can
and
see.
I definitely want to follow up about how you survived, age of 13, 14 on the streets alone as a gymnast. But, the other thing that I wanted to ask before we get there is pickleball a sport or is it more of an identity? Because I feel like it's just turning into an identity. And most of these people just go out there and they kind of wave their arms around. I mean, there was a lady over here, 60, 70 years old playing pickleball that I saw. She took a tumble, cracked a head open, and I'm just like, you probably shouldn't be playing sports. But they say, no, I have to because this is my, pickleball is everything to me. And so I guess I'm just a little hung up on whether pickleball is even a sport or not.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
If your child came to you with a paddle and a little ball that had little holes in it
Mm.
and brought you to a net, well, what would you say to him or her?
I guess I would say, and this is tough for me because, I don't have kids. I am dating right now, but I am very busy and I'm considering possibly one day having kids. But I think if my kid came to me, you said with a ball, a paddle, and brought me to a net, what would I say?
Yeah, what would you say?
I guess I would just say, well, first off, I'm kind of like thinking about what I would name a kid. And is it a boy or a girl?
Oh my gosh. I mean, boy, obviously.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, because believe me, I don't think I could handle a lady, a kid lady.
You look like a boy dad to me.
I'm definitely a boy dad. I just love, I can't wait to bro down with,
You could
with
be
my son.
spotting your son while he's doing bench presses as a
Right.
baby.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I guess I would say, the first thing, this actually happened not long ago with a friend of mine's son. His name's Popsicles, and he was kind of wanting to, and this is kind of why I bring this up, which is he brought a paddle to me, and he brought me, up to a little net that he had built, and he said, let's play. And I said, where did you get that paddle? Because it was the weirdest paddle I've ever seen. It wasn't a pickleball paddle. It was a long, kind of slender, weird, kind of like what a nun would use, I think. And it was made of black leather. And I was just like, where the heck did you get that?
Was it a riding crop? Maybe
Yeah,
he
was
wants to
it
do equestrian.
Yes, maybe he wants to be a horse boy.
Yeah, well, the way he's growing his hair right now, he might because he cut his own hair into this long kind of flowing mane that he does like to braid.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm just like, okay, first off, Popsicles, where did you get that paddle? I threw that away. And then I was like, where did you get this? The net wasn't even like a sports net. It looked more like something you would try to catch,
Was it fishnet
fish or something.
stockings?
Yeah. So I guess
Yeah, wait, what is
to answer your question, sorry, did you have a question?
No. I was just curious. Was it fishnet stockings?
Yeah, maybe it was kind of like black netting that he had stretched between like two little poles. And I'm like, first off, where did you get that? I don't know where he gets this stuff. And I was just like, and then we're dealing with this whole neighbor issue right now, a guy named Donovan Geo. And anyway, Popsicles came out and was basically like, I think you're looking for me, and had this little paddle in these nets. And I just said, time out. Can we say that in whatever sport you think this is? Time out. We're not doing this. Go to your room, is what I said.
Send Popsicles disguise prize.
Oh, great. Okay.
Awesome. Yes.
Please.
What do you think
Please
his
scan-
sport is? By knowing him to the degree that you do.
Right now, I think it's unfortunately fancy twirling or something.
Maybe a gymnast.
Oh, maybe a
Floor
gymnast.
routine.
The first
But can
couple
guys
days.
be gymnasts?
Can guys be gymnasts?
Yeah, are there male gymnasts? I
Yes,
guess
of course.
Oh,
We call
really?
them
Okay.
gym boys.
Oh, right. Okay, I guess I have seen that.
Yes, we absolutely love our gym boys, and they're allowed to flip as much as possible, but then they have to also then go to the mixer and find a girlfriend at the evening. So in the morning there are sports, in the evening we make sure that there's co-ed mixers to make sure that everyone is,
Yes.
staying right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I guess I don't know what I would say to him other than go to your room, which is, and that's honestly why speaking of your own young person experience, it just worries me because, like, I hope I never have to throw my kid out of the house because I don't like what sport they're identifying with.
I mean, but I will say that I do love that your friend has given you the opportunity to discipline their son. You're in there going, saying, go into your room. I've never, like, I wish I had a friend that would let me do that,
Yep.
I would love to get my hands on some of these kids that my friends have,
Yeah.
Yes. Isn't that weird that you can't discipline other people's kids anymore?
It's a shame.
It's a shame. I mean, I get to do it here at Sky's Prize, but I would love to do it outside the realm of the camp.
Yeah.
I would love to do it just like out and about.
Yeah.
I know. I've been at a restaurant before
Yep.
and it was
Yep.
so weird because it was just my instinct. I saw a kid acting up and I just said, "No, go to your room." And then I realized I was at a restaurant.
Yeah. If more people could speak into disciplining other people's children, we would have
Yes.
way better behaved kids around here. And forgive me if this is too personal a question, Bean, but when you do the beam, okay, sometimes I
Bean
see
on
you
beam.
bean on bean.
Bean on beam. Oh, that is fun. Oh,
Bean on
bean on
beam.
beam.
Bean on
That's
beam.
like that. What was the one we said earlier? Purpose, porpoise.
Porpoise and powerful
Purpose,
purpose.
porpoise.
And bean on bean.
Oh, bean
I
on
was
beam.
watching you, Bean, where you were running towards the beam and you were running toward its end, not its side. It's like full in front of you. And then you leap on that little springboard and you jump up there. And a few times I noticed you would be down on the beam and we would have one leg on one side of it, one leg on the other side of it, sort of like you're straddling the beam. And then you flip up, you go around. And I just wanted to ask now, when you put your crotch, for lack of better word, on the beam, and so you're sort of straddling it, does that cause you to stumble in the flesh? Because, you got something down there between your legs. All of a sudden, it makes the mind wander.
I'm so embarrassed. I didn't even know anyone was watching.
Well, sometimes
Well, you
I
didn't
just,
know anybody was watching you do gymnastics or just that move?
just that move. That
Oh.
move is.
What is that
I hear
move
what you're
called?
That move. That move is actually called bean to bean. It is not bean
Okay.
on beam. It is called bean to bean.
beam to
and-
beam.
Bean to bean, and it does. It makes me yearn. It makes. How could it
Oh.
not?
Right.
Sure.
How could
it
it
grieves
not?
the heart of God. I know. That's what I was wondering. And I saw you practicing the move over and over. I brought my lunch and watched for a while. Should have waved and made my presence known. But it seems like you were perfecting it.
I was perfecting it. I was working at it for a very long time, and I gotta say, the faster you do it, the better. The faster you I start with long intervals, and then I start to. This is just for anyone who wants to do bean to bean. What you really want to do is jump on and kind of just sit and kind of slide back and forth in short, fast intervals.
Okay. Just sort of like a little scoot, like a little snail scoot.
Yeah, you're snail scooting on the bean. So you're really getting as much friction as possible. People don't have that. People don't do that move anymore because it got disqualified in the Olympics because it was getting a little too difficult to judge. But in my opinion, I think it's one of the hardest moves to concentrate on.
Yeah, well, maybe I have a little gymnast in my house because one of my daughters has been really spending a lot of time with the bathroom door locked. And then when I go in afterwards, she's got a bunch of towels draped over the edge of the tub like she's making an English saddle. And I'm like, what are you doing on the edge of the tub? And she's like, don't worry about it.
Which daughter is this, Hallie?
The one who smells like sour peaches and locks herself in the bathroom for hours on end. Now, here's the thing, Bean.
Okay.
Is maybe I have a gymnast on my hand and she's already doing the snail scoot or the bean on the bean.
Oh, I don't think she's a gymnast, Hallie.
Bean to bean.
I think she sounds like a gym.
Really? Okay.
If I was in the home, I'd be like, keep doing what you're doing. Stay in the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's all right. Okay.
Well, some of that was probably, I don't know if any of that honestly was interesting to our listeners, Hallie, but I do think our listeners do want to know, what is it like as as you're leading these youth through the different sports? And I want to get into some of the sports we offer here at Twin Hills, which is, basically anything you want to play, you can play here.
Yep.
But so when they're out on the field or the court or the pickleball thing, whatever the heck they call that, how do you incorporate Jesus and Christ specifically in the sport as you're playing it?
That's a really beautiful question.
Thank you. Yeah.
We like to tell them, and first of all, we start off with a stretch. We always do a calisthenics for Christ
Mhm.
and a stretch against Satan,
Mhm.
and then just a little warm up, honestly, so you don't pull a muscle.
Yep.
Right.
And I like to tell them that if you notice the professional athletes these days, they're always thanking God and they're always thanking Jesus, as they should,
Yep.
because as we know, that's all the big guy cares about, really.
He does.
That's right.
I know.
Athletes.
Yes,
And
and
so-
he wants some credit for your
And
skills
he-
and hard work.
Thank you. And it's not wars, it's not famine, it is athletics.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so when we talk to these children, we kind of already tell them that they've been touched, first of all, that they can even, play basketball, play soccer, swim, speed walk. Pickleball is a sport. I know we didn't talk about it before, but I do think it's a sport.
Okay.
I know we just have to let them play.
Yeah, jury's out.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep.
We're going to keep offering it though. Okay. So please,
I guess, jury's out.
I need you to stop berating them when you
I
see
just
them.
think it's
You-
I would say, I'm just saying you could try something else. I just don't think boys should definitely not play it,
Yeah.
Okay. The pickle boys are so good. I'm getting very upset talking about this with you.
Okay,
but
I'm sorry.
please,
Yeah,
if
jury's
you
out.
can, just try to not yell at them when you see
I-
them.
I would say, it's funny because that level of volume, when I'm like, hey, I'm just so used to that level of volume when I'm speaking to youth that I don't even think of it as a yell. So I will try to, but sometimes you just got to yell at them. You know what I mean, Allie?
Well, Dean, I wanted to ask you about how, as soon as you had some kids come to you and come out and identify themselves as wrestlers, and you started,
Mhm.
putting together the wrestling combos, and then some of the parents looked and said, uh-oh, well, if my boy is wrestling with another boy, it looks rather homoerotic. So you said, well, then it's going to be co-ed wrestling. Now, do you have trouble lining up the same weight of a boy with the same weight of a girl? Because they have to be the same weight, right?
Yeah. And, since we removed all the scales from the camp, we've just been truly eyeballing it. And I got to say, I'm very good at guessing the
Awesome.
weight of 13 to 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds. 18, it starts to get a little
Really?
hard because I think puberty has fully hit and it's hard to tell.
Yep.
But 13 to 17, give me a kid, I'll guess the weight. And I'm telling you, I'm like plus or minus 5 pounds.
Really?
Well, you could clean up at the Indianapolis State Fair at that guess your weight thing.
I know. Just give me a bunch of teens.
That's right. Wow, that's cool. What a skill. Okay, cool. And so do you find that the girls do okay wrestling with the boys of the same weight?
Okay. I don't want to dip into any sort of feminist rhetoric because, but
Buff, yeah.
yes, they are.
Wow, that's
Well, yeah.
And
incredible.
here's the
I
thing
think
about
so.
I just don't think there is that thing that happens where the ladies at that age, they are maturing, especially in their legs are so heavy. And I
Yes.
mean, and I have seen, and I don't want to name I don't like to name names, but one of my youth, her name is Skylight Penchant, and she, she was one of
I
those.
love her.
I mean, she has these really, I would just call them very, very strong, heavy legs.
Tree trunk legs.
And I just saw her throwing one of the other teen boys around like a rag doll.
Oh, I
and
love
was like,
her.
yeah, but
she's
is that
strong.
fair to the boy? Is it fair to the boy?
What do you mean? Is it fair to the boy?
Well,
She
is
was
it just-
She pinned him. She wrestled him.
she
She threw
pinned
him
him.
out of the
She-
rink.
yeah.
She pinned,
I mean,
yeah, but she
is
was
it-
kind of like flipping him with her legs, and it was just like, and I could hear him, and he was going like help and ow, and things like that, and I was just like, but I just
Is it
I
fair
just
to
wanna,
her that he wasn't good enough? Like I feel like those sorts of questions, and you get into that too.
right?
Like he showed up. To me, they looked the same weight, so I put them in the same.
Right.
So I put
Yeah.
them into the same ring.
Category.
It's it's not Skylight's fault that God gave her just thick thighs.
Just
Thick
really strong, overly strong thighs, I would say.
Yeah.
Illegally strong thighs.
Oh, what?
I think that's how God
Illegal.
made women. Yeah, God
Yes.
made women have extra strong thighs on purpose. It's birthing thighs, honestly.
They're birthing.
Now-
right? Yes, 100%. They're birthing thighs.
I don't
They're
want to
birthing
ask
thighs.
how thighs help birthing at all, because honestly, when I think about kind of the whole birth thing, I get a bit bored. But I just don't. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Of like, I think it's great that it happens. I think it's great that babies are made. But when it comes down to kind of the details of it, sometimes I'm like, I don't really want to know. Does that make sense?
Well, I can
Yeah,
understand that because
I can
sometimes
understand
you
that.
get ripped from front to back as a gal. You know what I
Really?
mean? It's what
Yes, you
happens.
do.
I mean, you're trying to
Yep.
get a bowling ball out from between your legs. Isn't that right, Bean?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean that the thighs are there so that like when the baby's hands go through first, there's something to grab onto.
Uh-huh.
Like that's why the thighs are strong. If you had weak thighs, like how could the baby pull itself out?
That's
the baby,
right.
but see, these are the details that I never want to really know. But now I'm just have the vision of a baby sort of like marine crawling, and
Yeah,
I'm just
that's
like,
right.
is that
That's
how it happened?
exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I just,
Unless it's breech.
Unless
what's that mean?
okay, feet first.
Right. Oh, and then it has to crawl with its feet out.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Absolutely.
Anyway, well, I
It's
want
kicking
to.
down the doors.
I do, I do want to ask how you survived as a 13, 14-year-old on the streets as a gymnast. But before I get to that, are you married?
I'm not.
Oh,
I'm
really?
single. Yeah.
Ooh,
Okay.
Yeah.
well, I love to play matchmaker.
Beans on the street.
Oh,
Oh, beans on the street.
Beans on the
Beans on the street. Not in the way that I used to
street
be.
beans.
Not in the way that I used to be.
Oh, right.
Street beans.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm looking for a partner. If anybody is out there,
Okay.
somebody who can handle these thick thighs.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Yes. Well, I believe that God is making the perfect partner for you, Bean. And, that person is going to come in and embrace your Bean and make you the happiest, wife out there. And I'll tell you what, I just wanted to ask, like, do you ever have, in the wrestling or in gymnastics or whatever, do you ever have, I worry that these boys will be wrestling with a girl and trying to cop a feel, if you get what I mean, in
Oh.
terms of what she's got up
Ah.
top in the front and downtown in the back.
Yes. To prevent that, we do let the girls, if there is even a close touch, they're allowed to scream.
Mm.
They're
okay.
allowed to scream. Close touch. They're allowed to scream or anything that they would like some of them call their own parts, like cans, we're close to the cans. Like they'll shout. We're allowing them to shout that.
Okay.
And then
And is that-
we'll
and then- but-
stop.
Yeah. And the boys have their hands, most of them tied behind their backs. And that's when I was also like, when Skylight is throwing Wyatt, I don't like to name names, but Wyatt Beverly was just being tossed. Like, I mean, he probably weighs
I mean, he got
a
his
buck
he
09
really got tossed.
soaking wet. Yeah. And So, he's got his hands tied behind his back. She's just like crushing him with those things. And I'm just going like, well, he can't get near the cans when he's 6 feet in the air being tossed around by thighs like that, can he?
I don't see anything wrong with that. To me, that's a fair fight, in my opinion.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
And well, also one more quick question, Bean. I'm sure maybe you haven't noticed, but I got these big jobbies on the front of me. I've had 3 reductions and they keep growing back. Could I yell cans if I can tell that these jammers are about to, like, say, knock your drink off the table when I sit down next to you, which
Hallie.
happens all the time?
Absolutely. Please do. God,
Okay.
please do. I would love that.
I
And
just
I'll move
don't-
that drink out of the way.
Move your can, incoming cans.
I just don't understand how we always get back to that. Anyway, well, I do want to just quickly go down the list of some sports that you all are offering this summer, because I know a lot of parents listen to this podcast. And so, just a few. And if you all want to chime in with some of the ones that you think the youth would like, I think that's great. But,
Yeah, please.
I'm seeing some of the traditional ones. Basketball, soccer,
Yep,
baseball.
That's big of you to offer basketball, honestly.
Yeah,
After the way that
softball.
basketball family treated you.
Then obviously swimming and gymnastics are there, and I guess that's the Porpoise program as well. And then you've got pickleball, I guess, and then some of these other ones I was really fascinated by. Curling,
Yes,
amazing.
we have that.
Yeah.
We love it.
Did anybody
It's
sign
kind
up?
of hard to do because the budget for ice is difficult, so we've been kind of doing it on the concrete, but they get
Oh.
the same experience.
Oh, okay. And
We
so
have
it's
bobsled as well.
bobsled.
We have
yeah.
we
Same
sort of
with
have a
the ice?
whole same
Okay.
with, we kind of have a whole snow sports program
Yeah.
that even though it's in the summer, we still like to offer it.
Yep.
Yeah, because you have
So-
cross country skiing here and biathlon.
Yes.
And then I also actually snowshoeing, and I saw that. Ice hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Archery, gunmanship, cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
We definitely have that. We also
throwing. So
long
throwing.
jump.
Oh, long jump and So what about some of these that are just actions, like
Yeah, so
throwing,
we
long
have
jump, skipping?
that is for some of the athletes that came out but maybe didn't like find a home for their action. So that's perfect for them, just to kind of like, we have nodding, we have shrugging, just some very basic movements that I think just so everyone can find a home. We have poking.
Because I saw poking, tumbling, and quitting.
We do have quitting.
And what is that?
We do have
What's that action look like?
That is okay. So we also want to prepare these kids for, the real world. And I'll sit in, pretend to be a boss, and they can come to me and kind of be like, listen, we kind of give them a whole sort of speech to follow, and they can quit a job.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
And then can you, and then are they allowed to just leave the program, or do you just sign them up for something else?
We allow them to leave the program, and
Oh, wow.
they kind of have to just figure it out for themselves until their parents can pick them out.
Wow. And I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm sure that's something that you had to do when you were age 13 or 14 living on the streets as a gymnast, which
Yes.
I do want to get to. But before I do, I just think that I think this is a good example, isn't it, Hallie, of how Twin Hills really has such excellence in our programming that we have things like skipping, tumbling, quitting, throwing, I guess tossing, and then underhand tossing, like all of these sports at this
That's
program.
cool.
What an amazing variety isn't it, Bean?
I mean, I'm honored to be heading the program, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think
Yes.
some other of the events or sort of activities that we're always open to new activities as well. So if you have any in mind, I know people have just submitted marathon praying, and I find that to be maybe one of the most interesting sports
Awesome.
that we have at the
Yes.
camp.
Yes.
Are you what is
Yeah.
that? Are you running at the same time? Or are you just praying the whole?
No, you're running at
You're
it's
running.
26.2 miles of prayer.
Wow. That is so cool.
I love that.
And I'll tell you, my hat is off to you, Bean, because I just have full disclosure. I have to tell you, I was a little concerned when I saw that you were offering shot put, just simply because I read some statistic about how there had never been a woman to do shot put in the history of the sport that wasn't a lesbian. And so I got a little bit worried because one of my daughters signed up for shot put immediately.
Which daughter?
Oh, well, the one who has been holding up full gallon of paint cans against her neck and throwing them out into the backyard while simultaneously screaming the name of her best friend, Brandy. Now, here's the thing. I was worried when my daughter and Brandy were together constantly because she was always talking about Brandy. But then as soon as I clapped eyes on Brandy, I said, whew, because she has long hair. She wears mascara and lipstick. She's all woman. And so they're always poking and teasing and playing having sleepovers and everything. But, I say to my daughter, hey, take a page out of Brandy's book and maybe grow your hair out. She's been shaving her sides and dressing like a boy, but thank goodness her best friend looks like a girl, or else I'd be very worried.
You have absolutely nothing to worry about.
Oh, thank
Because
goodness.
everyone at the camp all the girls at the camp, it is a requirement to have long hair.
Oh, good.
And I think that alone really prevents any of them from turning into lesbians.
Yeah, for sure.
It is the one stopgap that we are really trying to enforce.
Yeah, nothing makes a girl gayer than, a pair of clippers or even, having side pockets and a pair of pleated pants.
I mean, I've cut all the pockets out of my pants just to be safe.
Yeah, because if you ever see a woman,
never know.
You never know. And if you ever see a woman with one hand in a pocket, that's a lesbian. That's how you know.
Really?
Yes.
Yes. That's why you catch me walking the streets like this.
You got your hands up as if you're at gunpoint.
Time.
Yep.
Well, I did want to ask you, about walking the streets as a gymnast when you were living there. But you know what? I think we are out of time.